Hello students, welcome back. Today we are going to start another topic of chapter 5, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. The topic is polygenic inheritance. Now, before going through the topic, we will discuss that what is inheritance. If you will recall the definition of inheritance, it is the transfer of character from parents to the subsequent generation. कैसे किसी कैरेक्टर का ट्रांसफर पेरेंट्स से उनके आने वाली जनरेशन में होता है, उसी को हम क्या कहते हैं, इनहेरिटेंस. सो हियर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द पॉलीजेनिक इनहेरिटेंस. Before that we have done about the Mendelian inheritance, right? So here if you will see this word polygenic, poly means many and genic means genes. Whenever the inheritance takes place or the character controlled by the many genes, it is known as polygenic inheritance. इसका क्या मतलब होगा कि कोई भी इनहेरिटेंस, कोई भी कैरेक्टर जो जनरेशन में आपको दिखाई दे रहा है वो किससे कंट्रोल होगा, एक से ज़्यादा जीन से कंट्रोल होगा, right? So here the same definition I have written, what character is controlled by many genes. Okay, so one character can be controlled by the many genes. It may be 2 genes, it may be 3 genes, or it may be many genes, right? Along with this, I have written that intensity of character depends upon number of dominant genes. Whenever we are talking about any character, if you recall the previous one, so we have done about the plant height. Plant height is a character, and what can be the trait? Trait can be tall or it can be dwarf. So here, whatever the character or the plant height is there, we are denoting with the capital T as well as small t. So we are having the dominant character as well as the recessive character. So according to the polygenic inheritance, that the character will be controlled by the many gene as well as the intensity of that character. Okay, it means that जो भी intensity होगी, कितना character वो show कर रहा है, वो किस पर depend करेगा, number of dominant allele. जितने ज़्यादा dominant allele होंगे उतना ही ज़्यादा character वो express करेगा. ओके और जितने कम डोमिनेंट जीन्स होंगे उतना कम वो कैरेक्टर एक्सप्रेस करेगा, राइट? सो एज वी हैव डन, 2 थिंग्स आर देयर, phenotype and genotype. So the phenotype is what? The outer appearance which we can observe. So the phenotype can be the character of any organism and how they are inheriting from the parents to the offspring, it will be the inheritance, right? Now on the point which I have written here, phenotype is a result of participation of genes and also influenced by the environment. It is very clearly that P is equals to G into E. Okay, P is what? Phenotype, G is what? Genotype and E is what? Environment. Okay, किसी के भी phenotype पे किसका effect होता है? Genotype का. We all know that along with this genotype there is some effect of environment. Environment का भी कुछ effect क्या होता है, offspring में दिखाई देता है. We know that genotype is considered, but along with the genotype we are also considering some environmental effect, right? So in the polygenic inheritance we can say that 3 things are there which we have done, that it is controlled by many genes. Second thing which we have done, that character intensity will be more when there will be more number of dominant allele, right? And the third thing, it is also affected by the environment, right? So here we have done the polygenic inheritance, and the important thing about polygenic inheritance, it was given by the Galton, and the first time it was observed in the kernel color of wheat, by the Nelson LA. What he observed that, what is the meaning of kernel? Wheat के जो seeds होते हैं उनको हम क्या कह रहे हैं, kernel. And कैसे wheat के color? If you will see the color of the kernel, sometimes it can be the dark, sometimes it can be the light, sometimes it can be the intermediate. सारे ही color एक जैसे नहीं होते हैं. For example, if you will take another example in case of human color, अगर आप ह्यूमन की स्किन का कलर अगर देखें, सब एक जैसे कॉम्प्लेक्शन के नहीं होते हैं, उनमें क्या होता है, थोड़ा थोड़ा डिफरेंस सभी में होता है. सो हियर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द फर्स्ट एग्जांपल, दैट इज कर्नल कलर ऑफ व्हीट. Okay, so here we have shown some wheat kernel with the red color and sub we have shown with the white color. Okay, जितने ज़्यादा डोमिनेंट एलील होंगे उतना ही कैरेक्टर ज़्यादा एक्सप्रेस करेंगे, ज़्यादा कैरेक्टर शो करेंगे. सो हियर ऑल द डोमिनेंट कैरेक्टर शोइंग दैट इट इज रेड इन कलर and here all the recessive, so it is showing that it is white in color. So from here we can conclude that the pigmentation is responsible, or we can say the pigmentation is controlled by the dominant genes. जितने भी dominant alleles हैं वो क्या शो करेंगे, ज़्यादा pigmentation. कम dominant allele, कम pigmentation. So here the red color pigment is due to the dominant allele and this white color is due to the recessive allele. It is not having any pigmentation. Now if we will go for the crossing of these two types of plants or these two types of kernels, what you will find, again we will get the F1 generation. This F1 generation will be the intermediate type. अगर आप इस F1 generation को देखेंगे तो वो कैसी होगी, intermediate. It means some characters it will take from the this parent and some of the character it will inherit from the another parents. Okay. Again if you go for the F2 generation, I am not explaining whole table because that much not in your course. The only thing you have to understand that what is polygenic inheritance and how these dominant characters are influencing the phenotype of the particular. Okay, so if you will see the F2 generation, so you can see that you can get different type of combination as we have done in the Medel's law of independent assortment. We have made different combination, right? Here also we can make different genotypic combination. So here I have shown in very short that if you will go for the F2 generation, you will get different range of color. यहाँ पे आपको क्या दिखेंगे, red और white तो दिखेंगे. For example, this red will inherited into the F2 generation, but along with this parental character, you will get some intermediate. Parental character तो आपको दिखाई देंगे, उसके साथ साथ आपको क्या दिखाई देंगे, कुछ intermediate character भी दिखाई देंगे. जैसे कि for example, in parents you are saying it is a full red, right? Some generation, some genotypes you will get, it will be light red, some will be the intermediate red, some will be the very light color. So these all depend upon what? These all depend upon the dominant allele. If you will see the full red, okay, so here this is the parental character. In parental character all are dominant. जब सारे के सारे dominant होंगे तो हमें कैसा कलर दिखेगा, ज़्यादा pigmented. जैसे ही dominant character कम होते जाएंगे वैसे ही उनका कलर भी क्या हो जाएगा, उनका pigment कैसा हो जाएगा, कम हो जाएगा. For example, if you see here, so how many full red we are getting? 1. And how many dominant genes are contributing? 4 dominant genes. Due to this, it is imparting red in color. Now, if you will see the another combination, you will get the light red. Some of the combination you will get the light red, and the number would be 4. But here, now the dominant gene will get reduced. Only 3 dominant genes are there, so it is showing some less intensity as compared to the previous one. Again, if we will move further, you can see that you are getting some intermediate red. And how many intermediate red you are getting in F2 generation? 6, right? But now the dominant genes again will get reduced. It will become only 2 dominant genes, and due to this the color of the red will also decrease. Again, if you will see here, you will get the very light, some of the combination of very light, which is 4 in number. Okay, and here you can see that number of dominant gene is only 1, and due to this color is getting lighter and lighter. And the last, only 1 white color of genotype we are getting in the F2 generation, which is just like its first parental character. Okay, and here you can see that there is no dominant gene. If there will be no dominant gene, it can show that there is no pigmentation, and due to that it is only of white in color. Okay, so this is the example of kernel color of wheat, which is of polygenic inheritance. It means that the color of the wheat or the kernel color of the wheat is due to the 2 different genes. Okay, we have shown with the first one RR and other one with the BB. Okay, and these are the recessive pair of the dominant part. So how many genes are contributing? 2 genes are contributing here for the color of the kernel. Okay, another example, that is human skin color. Okay, so here whenever we are talking about the example of polygenic, it means that it would be controlled by many genes. So the color of the skin, okay, the color of the skin is governed by some pigment, and that pigment is known as what? Melanin pigment. Memorize this one. So this melanin pigment is responsible for giving color to our skin. Now this melanin pigment is composed of 3 pairs of genes, or we can say this melanin production is due to what? Due to the pairing of these 3 genes. Wherever these 3 genes are present, it means that melanin pigment is present there. So how they are affecting? It means that whenever we are talking about the 3 pairs of gene, we have represented with the A, B and C. Along with these genes, we are having recessive part of that dominant one. So how many pairs we are having here? 1 pair, 2 pair and 3 pairs. So all together these 3 pairs of genes are controlling which pigment? Melanin pigment. Okay, so now when we are talking that these 3 genes, it means that more than 1 genes are controlling the one character or the single character. This is skin color. So this skin color is a character which would be controlled by the 3 genes. Right? Now here we will talk about the crossing. If you will see here, I have shown with the 3 types. First one, in the first condition, we can see that all 3 genes which we have considered here, they will be in the dominant state. Okay, जो भी हम कह रहे हैं कि genes present है, वो कैसे condition में है? Dominant condition में. और हमें पता है कि तीनों ही genes किसके लिए responsible हैं? Melanin pigment को बनाने के लिए. When there will be more dominant gene, there will be more production of melanin. One thing you have to memorize, beta, that whenever we are talking about the dominant genes always and always produce the pigments. But the recessive one, okay, they will never produce any pigmentation. So whatever pigments you can see in your skin color, it is due to what? It is due to the dominant gene. If there would be no dominant gene, then there will be no skin color. If there will be no skin color, so what type of color it would be? White in color. Okay. So here these 3 dominant, which is capital A, capital B, capital C, they are forming the melanin pigment, and these small a, small b, small c, they are not producing any melanin pigment. So in the first condition, all these 3 genes are in dominant state. पहली condition आप देख सकते हैं कि A भी, B भी और C भी सारे ही कैसे dominant state में, and this is known as negroid. It means that if melanin pigment will be more, the complexion would be dark. Have you seen the Africans? Why they are having complexion will be dark? It is due to the dominant gene. किसकी वजह से होता है डार्क कॉम्प्लेक्शन? डोमिनेंट जीन की. और डोमिनेंट जीन होंगे तो उनमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मेलानिन पिगमेंट प्रोड्यूस होता है. Here one thing you can add it on, that environment, as we have said that along with these genes, environment is also affecting. Okay, in your case also, if you'll go outside and there would be sun, so what happens? You get tanning. Okay, so why this tanning is happening? It is happening due to the environmental effect. हमें ये तो पता है कि जितना ज़्यादा डोमिनेंट जीन होंगे उतना ही ज़्यादा मेलानिन पिगमेंट होगा. And the second case, if the environment condition will be hot, what will happen? There will be more production of melanin. जितना ज़्यादा environmental condition कैसी होंगी? Hot, तो melanin pigment भी ज़्यादा उनमें produce होगा. Okay, so here altogether these 2 condition will form the negroid. Negroids कैसे होते हैं? Dark complexion के, and किसकी वजह से हो रहे हैं? Dominant gene की वजह से हो रहे हैं. इस डोमिनेंट जीन की वजह से ज़्यादा मेलानिन पिगमेंट प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है. राइट, और जितना ज़्यादा मेलानिन पिगमेंट होगा उतना ही ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्शन डार्क होगा. ओके, and the second condition you can see that all these three genes are present in recessive form. आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं कि कैपिटल स्मॉल a, स्मॉल b एंड स्मॉल c. all these three pairs of genes, they are in recessive state. Okay, if they will be in a recessive state, it means that they will not produce any melanin pigment. ये क्या नहीं करेंगे, melanin pigment produce नहीं करेंगे. If they will not produce any melanin pigment, what will happen? They will become white in color. Okay, if they will be white in color, what we can say, these types of people albino. आपने देखे होंगे कुछ people कैसे होते हैं, white, their whole complexion or the color of their hair, the color of their eyes, the color of their skin, all they are lighter in color. Why it is happening? It is due to the recessive one. उनमें कोई भी डोमिनेंट जीन नहीं होता है. उनमें क्या होते हैं, सारे के सारे रिसेसिव जीन्स होते हैं. एंड दिस इज द एबनॉर्मलिटी. ओके, वी कैन से दिस इज द एबनॉर्मलिटी इन केस ऑफ ह्यूमन बींग्स. नाउ देयर इज एन इंटरमीडिएट स्टेट, as we have done in the first example, when we are going to cross these two types of parental, in F1 generation we are getting some intermediate. Again in F2 generation we are getting more intermediates, right? So here in this case also, if we'll combine the negroid with the albino, okay, so we can get some intermediate. हमें क्या मिल सकता है, कुछ intermediate, in which some part is of dominant and in which some part is of recessive. So these are the intermediate which is known as mulatto. Okay, mulatto क्या है, ये उनमें कुछ क्या होंगे, डोमिनेंट कैरेक्टर होंगे, कुछ रिसेसिव कैरेक्टर होंगे. Here I have shown only one combination. There can be different combination. So we have not shown whole table of these crossing because it's not in your course. But the only thing you have to understand is that what is polygenic trait, how these characters are affecting and how many dominant genes are affecting the character. Okay, now again we have done that mulatto can be of different types. हमने मुलाटो में क्या कहा कि डोमिनेंट जीन्स भी होंगे और रिसेसिव जीन भी होंगे. नाउ इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन दैट हाउ मेनी डोमिनेंट जीन्स आर प्रेजेंट. ओके, सी फर्दर द मुलाटो, हियर आई हैव शोन दैट इट कैन बी वन डोमिनेंट जीन, इट कैन बी टू डोमिनेंट जीन और इट कैन बी थ्री डोमिनेंट जीन. हमने क्या बोला कि मुलाटो क्या है, इंटरमीडिएट. इनमें कुछ डोमिनेंट भी होंगे, कुछ रिसेसिव भी होंगे. अगर सिर्फ एक डोमिनेंट जीन होगा, फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू कैन सी दैट दिस कॉम्बिनेशन and this one combination, only I have shown only 3 combination out of 27 genotypic combination. So here you can see only one gene is dominant. Here you can see only one gene is dominant. Again in the third one only one gene is dominant. So what it is showing? It is showing that these are mulatto. And you can see that those Caucasian people, जो हम कहते हैं अंग्रेज, they are not the albinos. Why? Because they are having dominant gene. वो उनके पास भी क्या है, कुछ dominant gene है जिनकी वजह से उनका क्या है, complexion कैसा दिखाई देता है हमें, कुछ skin color. But that complexion is lighter as compared to the Asian color. अगर हम बात करें Indian skin color की, so we are having Asian skin color which is different from the Caucasian. Why? Because in our gene we are having more number of dominant gene. ओके, हमारे केस में क्या है, ज़्यादा डोमिनेंट जीन है. अगर हम बात करें जो हम कहते हैं अंग्रेज, उनमें क्या है, उनमें कम डोमिनेंट जीन है. एंड सेम थिंग वी हैव डिस्कस दैट जितने कम डोमिनेंट जीन होंगे उतना ही कॉम्प्लेक्शन कैसा होगा, लाइटर होगा. और जितने ज़्यादा डोमिनेंट जीन होंगे उतना ही ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्शन डार्क होगा. सो हियर इन द फर्स्ट कंडीशन वी आर हैविंग ओनली वन डोमिनेंट जीन, राइट. एंड अनदर केस you can see that again I took here 3 genotypic combination. Okay, you can see here how many dominant genes we are having, 2 dominant gene. Again you can see here 2 dominant gene. Again you can see here 2 dominant genes. Okay, so we Indian people comes under these types of combination in which we are having more number of dominant genes. Now if you will see here, we are having 3 dominant genes. In another combination, again we are having 3 dominant genes. Again we are having 3 dominant genes. So you can make this combination, but it's not in your course, so don't go beyond that. But the only thing is that if you will see the mulatto, in mulatto also we are having some more dominant gene and some less dominant gene. And the conclusion of all these things, that the more number of dominant genes, the effect will be more, and the less number of dominant gene, effect will be less. Right? So here we have concluded that these negroids are having all dominant genes which is possessing the more melanin pigment, and this human skin color is example of polygenic inheritance. Why? Because it fulfills all the criteria. The first criteria, it is fulfilling here, that it is governed by the, or it is controlled by the 3 genes, okay, which we have done here. Second thing about the dominant alleles, if the number of dominant alleles will be more, what will happen? There will be more phenotypic expression, or there will be more darker complexion. As well as third thing, we have discussed that environment is also playing its role. So as we have discussed that if there will be more sunshine, or there will be more hot areas, what will happen? There will be more tanning and more melanin pigment will be there. So it is due to what? It is due to the combination of all these 3 factors. Right? So here today we have completed about the polygenic inheritance. So in the next part we will discuss about the pleiotropy. Fine? So that's all for today. Thank you.